Edmonton. I'm with Dustin Bajer. He is an urban tree farmer, and he is spreading the word about how important it is for people to learn about trees and why they matter in their landscape. Tell me first, what is your relationship to trees?
Yeah, I've been in Edmonton for most of my life now, but I grew up on an acreage out in rural Alberta, and so I feel like we did lots of gardening on the acreage, but whenever I had free time, it was running around the forest, and so I really fell in love with forest ecology, and obviously like trees are a major component of that, and I think I've to some extent been chasing that since I've moved to the city.
So what kind of work are you doing with trees?
Yeah, so I run a community called Shrubscriber, which is it's like a tree subscription service, and so when folks join, that helps fund the propagation of trees. Members themselves get seeds and step-by-step propagation instructions, and so we grow out thousands of little trees, and then we look for folks within Edmonton that could benefit from them, and so we partner with schools and community groups, nonprofits, orchards, and we get those trees out there and we get them in the ground to grow a more resilient future for the city.
And why are trees so important? Why do we care about them?
Yeah, I mean, they're these amazing, living things that are, it's easy to walk by them and to not pay much attention to them. But, this apple tree beside us, it's growing food, obviously, but it's also, lowering the temperature that we're experiencing here just through its shade and through the evaporation from its leaves. It's building soil. That soil is holding onto the water that lands on the landscape, which prevents drought. It also decreases flooding downstream. And there's, with an apple as an example, there's a lot of like a cultural connections to them as well. And so often the plants in our landscapes are the reflections of the people who have planted them. And so we can look at our urban forest in the city of Edmonton as an arboretum that we tend and we grow, and so it reflects our values, and I think that there's something really interesting about that. Yeah, this is just a small scale tree production. There's about 25 trees per square foot here, a variety of different things. These ones in front of you are horse chestnuts, which are actually started from a large local tree here downtown. This is a fairly new species to Edmonton. This is a honey locust. So honey locust is a large tree in the pea and bean family. So if you think about those leaves there, they're very bean-like. About as big as our elms, and it actually produces a fruit. So a big, long bean that spirals in it, and it hangs out in the tree all winter, trying to attract our native elephants.
What?
Yeah.
And are we allowed to eat these?
They are edible. They can be up to 35–40% sugar. This is one of my favorite trees in the nursery here. This is a ginkgo biloba.
Whoa, I know this.
So that is, it's a pretty uncommon tree for Edmonton, though we do have some of them here locally. We tend to only plant male trees just because the females do produce an edible fruit, but the flesh on the fruit is stinky. It's more closely related to a conifer than a deciduous tree. So this is actually more like a needle than a typical leaf, and you can think about it, it's a needle that's been fanned out.
Wow, how cool.
I've got some really interesting kind of one-off things in some pots over there if we want to go take a look.
Okay, let's go do that.
This here is a hybrid between an American chestnut and a Chinese chestnut.
Neat.
So very large tree, very long-lived. I've got a couple of them and they need a pollinator, and so their forever homes need to be pretty close to each other. Okay. This is actually a sweet cherry, so this is a cross between a Rainier and a variety called Gold, which is fairly cold hardy. And of the 100 or so seeds that I planted out, 3 of them have survived to this point. Whoa. But they seem to be doing very well, and technically this is its own variety. So if we can get this in the ground and it gets established, when it starts fruiting, it will be the only one in the world that looks and tastes like it. And then of course, if it's great, we can then continue to take cuttings from it and get it out there in the world. Well,
I love your adventurous spirit.
Yeah.
You're a real entrepreneur when it comes to trees, and this is such a beautiful vision that you have.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's a lot of fun, and Shrubscriber has allowed me to, collect folks who are really into this kind of stuff, and so it's great that we're building a community, dedicated to this kind of thinking.
Yeah, one tree at a time.
Yeah, thank you.
Literally.
Literally.
Thank you so much, Dustin. Wow. vacuum here.